Hi, I hope you all are having a great time. During COVID, I made a short documentary film which went on to win several awards. The documentary, Postcards to the Unknown Child, can be watched by clicking on the link above. In this short tutorial, I'll walk you through the process on how the postcards were created. Okay, so this is the scene that I did. This is the first postcard that I made. And as you can see, it's not that complicated of a scene. This is Tuk Tuk, the main character. We have some jars which have some floating heads and inside them and fish. We have some huge candles. A lot of these assets I had already modeled for other animations. This is the Tuk Tuk, this is the main character. I already had the main character ready and I just used him for this series. And here is in this jar you can see it's the same man, just heads floating around. And this is the spider that I used for in a short film that I did, Sugar Cube. I don't know if you have seen it. If you have, I'll set a link somewhere here. This is a fly. Also, it was in the same short film, Sugar Cube. This is a fish that I had. I haven't used it anywhere yet, except for this. And these jars are the same jars that you will find in another short film, actually short series that I was working. That is an animation series. The first episode of those series, The Cherry Thief. It's those same jars from that one. Now these candles are the one that I had to make because I didn't have any candles. If you look closely, they are just cylinders, subdivided cylinders, and I just sculpted them. It's just one cylinder that I have alt duplicate, which is, I think it makes a link duplicate. So anything I do in this one, it's going to reflect on everyone. Over that one, you can see in that one clearly. See? So they're all the same. They're just a bunch of cylinders. I just made one and I just duplicated it everywhere, scaled it down so it looks like this one's quite melted. These are small. This one's same as that one. So these are the candles. Subsurface scattering, specular, so that gives a shine, nice candle-like shine. This is just a single flame, a single photograph of flame that I have duplicated and rotated so that gives consistent looks instead of just 2 or 3 duplications. Next we have the flow here, another asset that I had ready. Just one, if you can see clearly, it's just one tile actually that I just duplicated everywhere. The only difference that I did is I gave them a slight variation. This is it's bump map. This is the bump map of this same wood texture. All I did was connect it to an object and I changed its location. I rotated it, scaled it quite a lot so that it gives this nice huge effect. Made it black and white so that gives a better result. And then I just multiplied it onto the wood texture. So that I can get some, like, it doesn't feel like all of these wood textures are the same, otherwise. The other thing that I did is if you look here, if you look here, it looks quite clean here. So I wanted to break down this cleanness. The main idea was to make it look dirty, So what I did was I took a plane, I modified it, I added a texture, dirt texture. This is its, and I just gave it some displacement modifier so they don't all look the same. And I just put them in the edge here to break down the this edge. Next, I'm going to talk about the jars. This is the jars. The jars are pretty simple. I already had the jars, as I told you just before. I already had the jars. I just reused them for this purpose. Initially, I was trying to make, a very complicated texture to get these looks, but it was not working out. So all I did, I got this smudge texture. I scaled it, did some scaling, color ramping, and I just attached it to this principle in roughness. I gave it some specular, not too much. Give it some transmission. I was trying to give it a clean coat. Now it's just called coat. Initially it was called clean coat, but it was not working out, so I removed it. And that's all there is to this thing. And you can see this dirty looking jar, like covered in grime and smudges and all, as you expect these things to be. The liquid inside is actually the same as the glass outside, except I just changed the color and I didn't give it any smudges and all. The interesting thing here is these bubbles. These bubbles also have the same texture actually. These bubbles have the same texture as the glass, as the liquid inside, except for the color, and I just changed some parameter here and there. The main thing here is this. I gave it a displacement modifier. It's basically just, and I'll just duplicate this one. Yep. So, there you go. It's basically just an icosphere, and I just gave it a displacement modifier with global coordinates so that it doesn't look the same whenever I duplicate it. So it gives you these variations nicely. You don't have to model each and every single thing again and again. I didn't even have to use particle simulation for this. You don't need too many bubbles in this. So these are the jars. Next, as I show you, these are the heads inside the jars. Reused assets actually. Just cut off the bodies and just use the heads. Very simple. Basically all I did was reuse the assets that I already had and create very simple assets where I didn't have. This is the tuk-tuk. So this is the scene. Now I'll talk about the lighting here. Lighting is also very simple. This is just the candle lights. Actually, I have a HDRI lighting as well, just dialed down quite low, 0.1%. The candles look really nice when you switch on the. I have given each and every single one of them a point light. So that's why you get, and since they all have subsurface scattering, you get this really nice, realistic looking candle effect. And this is how the scene looks like from the camera. Then I have these main lights that are here. There's this big light here. It's just there to give some highlights over there to the edges. See, just some highlights over there. Then I have this light here. This is the spotlight on our main character. This is the one that's giving the highlights to all my jars and gives the feeling that, okay, there's a door over there. Then I have this one light back over there. This light is actually quite interesting. You see, if I switch this off, you don't get the feeling of depth in the background. Yeah, it looks quite dark here, and you don't feel like there's a distance over there. So this is the light that gives us the distance, and also as you see there, it gives us some really interesting effects on the glass. Now these are the important lights here. These are the lights that I am using to light up these 4 lights here, that I'm using to light up my jars from the inside, because you have to see what's inside, otherwise it's not going to work. See, you don't see anything inside, you don't know what's happening here. So these are the lights that tells you what's happening inside. Here, see, it's lighting there It's quite high up top, and it's lighting from the inside. Just move it up. You can see. Do you see how it affects it? These are the lights that are the important lights actually for the jars. Now the other thing that I did was give it a very slight volume here. Very slight. And what this does, it just glues everything together. It gives a feeling of atmosphere, like dirty atmosphere, and just glues everything together. Now then I render this out and I take it to Fusion. So this is my Fusion composition. This is my render. This is how it looks like when you render it out in OpenEXR. It always comes out dark. So now I just have added some color correction nodes here. Brighten up this brightness contrast node, which has masks, so that masks that concentrate on these areas that I want them to be brighter. I have this background which I merge over here. Then I add some color correction further, more color correction with masks here, and then I did some vignetting and I rendered it out. This is the final result. So afterwards I took this render to on1 photo raw. This goes to on1 photo raw, where I add these more grunge maps. I add this rain, I add the border and I did some more color grading, correction, adjustment, even some more vignetting, more contrasty like feeling. And then I took this to Affinity Photo. Over there I just add this label, this stamp and the text, and then I was done. I had to render it out and I was done. So this is how I went about doing this, and thanks for watching. I will be uploading how I did the other postcards soon. See you next time.